Hi, and welcome to an article critiquing. This time, a YouTube video. Stop wasting money on photography. That's probably not the best title in the world, but this is one of those videos, about someone who tells you stupid things you should not buy because they waste the money on it and it's useless. And it's totally because it's just useless. It's not because they don't know how to use it or it's not for them or anything. It's just because it's bad things. So yeah, I'd like to set it up. It's not because anyone in these videos are too stupid to know what they're talking about and saying stupid things. And I would agree. They sell a lot of shit that's worthless. So often, I can see a lot of videos with people buying all that crap you see on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and stuff where it goes, oh, this is the best thing. And then you go, no, that's clearly crap, but some people will buy it.
No matter how you slice it, photography is a seriously expensive hobby, and photocentric companies, they know this, which really stokes their desire to always be reaching for a bigger slice of the pie.
Okay, so my problem lately has not been photocentric companies, but companies that try to find something to sell to photographers and stuff. A lot of photography or companies, have done pretty well. There's Peak Design. They make some pretty good things. I like their straps and stuff. I got a few of them, not sponsored by them anything. I also like Sony, other kind of stuff. But some make things you can use, some don't.
Which in turn results in a plethora of useful and often odd and ridiculous accessories that are really all designed to improve and simplify our photography life. And in this video, I'll review the items I wish I would have never spent my money on over the course of the past 10 years in hopes that I can save you a bit of time and a whole lot of cash.
Okay, sure. For this to make sense, we have to make sure, and I think he knows something about it. It has to be not stupid, the things he is saying, like lenses. I spend money on lenses, but I only have a bridge camera where the lens is on the camera. It can't be changed. It isn't changeable. You shouldn't spend money on lenses. So it's probably not going to get that stupid, but let's see.
And one of those things is this right here. Now this might look like your standard filter, but this is actually a variable ND filter. Now these are pretty popular for videographers
and photographers.
The idea being that you've got access to a multiple different neutral density strengths in a single filter. But
yes, and it's made when you want to pack light. So if you want to do a lot of photography or video where you don't have to switch the front filter. It's easy nowadays with magnetic filters, but they can also fall off. So one of those solutions for, let's call it running and gunning, but also taking care of your equipment.
For photos or photography, this was something that did not work very well for me. Now I cannot speak to every single.
Okay, he said for me, so
variable.
I'm guessing his complaints will be something that he did wrong.
Well, ND out there on the market, but this one in specific, it looks like it's from a brand named Platinum. What would happen a lot of times is if you didn't move the ND filter to a certain position, you'd kind of get this like a little bit of an X-path.
Didn't move it to a specific location. I've recorded this a couple of times. I've gotten to here where I start getting pissed off because he said stupid things. Okay, so the filters, like a lot of things, when you use it, has a max and a minimum usable reach. Like, let's say if you have a not good lens, then if you go to the most open aperture, mostly most open, it's not really that sharp. You have to stop it down to make it work, else it would bad. Even in some lenses, zoom lens, you can go so wide you get some of the lens hood because it's not properly made or too cheap. So the thing he's talking about there is when you go past the minimum or maximum settings for it, which are well marked on the filters usually. And yes, the cheaper the filter is, the worse it is. It's with everything. The cheapest ND filters, even though they're not variable, will still be worse than a good ND filter. That being said, that cross is to signal when you get to the end and beyond the end of the reach of the scale on it. Then you have to go back. And this is how they made. You got more or less two tiny filters in there, meshing to darken it and then meshing out to make it brighter. So if you use it wrong, you don't get a good picture. It's like the photo focus. If you go manual focus and you don't know how to focus, your image is going to be out of focus. It's that simple. But yes, go on.
Pattern that was very subtle. You couldn't see it on the back of your camera.
Normally you can, but it depends on the settings you had. Okay, I'm guessing, and this is why he can't see it, he turned it up to max, or probably beyond max, to get it as dark as possible so he could have a long shutter time as possible. And then when he gets home or it's exposed, he can see that there's something wrong. And that's mainly what happens. It's when you fuck up, when you do it wrong, it gets wrong.
But when you get the images back in post and you start to edit those files, you would start to see this kind of a little bit of an X pattern across the entire image. And I've heard this is a common complaint with using variable NDs for photographies.
Yes, and he forgot to mention, if you're an idiot that don't know how it fucking works. See, I sometimes get a little pissed off. We have these people, I'm a professional photographer. It goes, yeah, but don't fucking complain about basic fucking shit. This is basic. If you know anything about ND filters and variable ND filters and cameras and anything, you would know this. You go, I heard photographers complain about this. It's like, yeah, I also hear lots of 5-year-olds complain about how my car doesn't accelerate fast enough and it should probably have way more headlights and stuff. Talk about things they don't know shit about. But yes, go on.
A variable ND, I only use this on one outing. I have used it on video and it seems to be fine, but for photography, I would probably recommend...
Did he just say he used it for one outing? He fucked up once and never used it again for that? Oh my god. Okay, 2 things here. First of all, you're so fucking stupid you don't know how to use it and you fuck it up. You use it once and then you go, this was a waste of money. It's like, yes, if you use it only fucking once, you don't know how to use it and then you stop using it. I know he said used video a few times. No problem. Because I guess he didn't fuck up, and because if shooting video, you seldom need to go to max or beyond. But how is that a waste of money for anyone else than idiots that don't know how to use it and then use it once and don't use it again? Then everything's a fucking waste. Okay, so his second thing is a Peak Design lens holder where you can put a lens in each end. I'm not gonna play any of this because it's too long and boring. My only thought here is, who the fuck wants this? The only scenario I can see this being just a tiny bit useful is if you got 2 lenses in your backpack or doing something you want them not to move around or just really have them tight, I don't know why, and then you can take a lens off, put it on the camera, take the one from the camera, put it on there. Or maybe if you have the camera without lens on, then you'll just take one lens and then switch. It's just useless. It's something where someone thought, hey, this could be smart, and then everyone else should have said, yeah, but would you carry 2 lenses on your body like that? Not your camera body, but your real body, and then just switch lens where you need to. You know what? I've looked it up, but I'm guessing you would only put one lens. I know he explains that you put a lens on each end, but I think maybe you have 1 lens on it or 2 lenses, and take a camera, take 1 lens, put it on, photo, film, whatever, take the lens off, put it on, take the other lens and on, because otherwise it's useless, because you can't have 2 lenses, then you have to take the lens of the camera, lens off what you're holding, put one on the camera with one hand while putting on. So yeah, he apparently doesn't know how that works, and I figured out by looking at it for a few seconds. Does that make him a moron, or does that make me a genius, or does that just make me normal and being able to see how things fit together, and him an idiot for spending money on something he has no idea how it works? And see, that's a problem. That's what they're trying to find. The moron who will buy something just because you say, oh, that's cool. And I've got nothing against Peak Design. I got some of their camera straps and wrist straps and stuff. It's fine. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they make some okay things.
List item that I purchased many years ago. The next one is these lens brushes. These are really popular. You know, and most of them are kind of designed the same way, where you take the cap off of one end and you press a little slider up and you get little bristles right here. In theory, and I think that this is fine.
Okay, so before we listen to his guaranteed not moronic explanation, there's usually cap on both ends, and the wipey end, not the brush end, normally you can take it out and flip it around and there's another size on the other side. It's a cloth, like a spectacle cloth that's on it with rubber, so if you get really tough greasy stains, you can't get off with blowing them off or wiping them off with that, then you can use it to remove them. And they're round, so you go into the lens, make it clean, and then just wipe it with it, and then it's really effective. And you can clean them because it's a bit, I don't know, suede-like, so you can clean it and then use it again. Because as you probably would figure out, is if you had a lot of filthy, dirty lenses with lots of grease on it, it would quickly just begin to rub around grease. It's not the best way to do it, but it's a good way to remove a fingerprint something while you're out shooting. And back in the day, you would be able to buy extra tips for them, so you could always put a new tip on it. So yeah, that's it.
Aspect of it.
What do we have here?
It's good to just kind of brush off your front element.
Please don't use
That's
it on your
not
hand.
really the issue that I have with these. It's
Don't
on
put it on
this
your
side
hand.
here. So you usually have this kind of felt pad right here. And then you know, after you brush
He keeps touching both ends with his hands. It annoys me.
it off, then you kind of use this to wipe across your lens.
Oh no, fuck. Don't fucking wipe across the lens. You never, ever, ever wipe across your lens. When you wipe a lens, after you make sure there's no debris on it, you do circular movements. Circular. It's fucking circular for a thing. If you go from side to side, you will easily make some streaks, and maybe even if you wind up scratching it, you'll scratch it in the worst way possible. Like a fucking moron would do if they don't know what the fuck they're working with. Right now, I'm for a hard time imagining him having a camera that's in any kind of just close to okay condition.
And I can't think of a worse, I can't think of a way that would increase the likelihood of you scratching your lenses than by using one of these right here. I highly recommend that you never use one of these. You can't clean these things off. You know, maybe once you take it out of the bag, it would be okay a little.
He keeps touching it. Yes, you can fucking clean it. Yes, you can take it with you. It's not made to clean a fucking car windshield. It's for a tiny lens and most likely for a fingerprint or something. You goddamn useless moron right now.
A little bit. But if you have like any piece of sand or anything on your front element and then you put this on top of it and start swiping.
You put it on top of sand and start swiping. Still with the fucking swiping. Okay, listen here. Useless fucking moron boy. If there's sand on your lens, you remove that first. First of all. Second of all, don't ever fucking swipe across the fucking lens. And with that lens there, pen there, don't keep touching both hands with your greasy fucking hands. And now say, I don't know if he has greasy hands. Yes, he's a fucking human being, I'm guessing. We all have fucking greasy hands. Our hands are made of grease, more or less. That's why we put fingerprints everywhere and stuff, and our screens on the phone get greasy. Don't fucking swipe. But yeah, let's go on.
Across it, you're gonna dig whatever is on your lens right into the glass.
Okay, first of all, a good thing when you're somewhere where your lens gets exposed to things is having at least a UV filter, a good quality, which protects your lens from all that shit. So it's that thing you're cleaning mostly.
And that is definitely not a good thing. What I would recommend is this right here. These little rocket blowers, these are amazing just to blow off any kind of debris on your lens.
You are a goddamn moron. Okay, so first of all, does that work on fingerprints? No. If you have some dust that's stuck there, does it work on that? No. Does it work on a thing you can blow off? Yes. So how would you get your lens clean if you accidentally got dirty? Well, I'll give you a quick rundown. I would take the blower. I would start blowing what I could. I would take the brush, maybe with the blower, and make sure I got all the possible dust off. And then if it was a clean pen I had, or I had some else cleaning cloth that was made for spectacles or something like it that could do it, I would circularly dry off the thing. And maybe if it was really goddamn dirty, I would use one of those lens wet wipes I have. And then after that, use a cloth that was clean and made for glass like that to wipe it off, to make the best possible images. But yeah.
And then from there, I like to use these kind of lens wipes. These are pre-moistened wipes. You just open them up and then you kind of clean your front end.
Then you're gonna fucking scratch it, you fucking moron. You haven't removed the sand stuck in the fucking grease. You've blown away a bit of dust and now you're fucking scratching your fucking lens. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously. So this is gonna scratch your lens, but if I do, I scratch mine with a lot of sand.
The front element of your lens, that's kind of my go-to scenario for cleaning off my lenses, but never using those kind of lens brushes.
No, never use something that works. Rather be an idiot that takes a wet wipe to a lens filled with dust and stuff and just mush it in there. Mush it in there. You goddamn useless moron.
Not a big fan of those. Now this one right here, this is probably a little bit controversial, but it is, if I can pick it up, these right here, graduated neutral density filters. Now, these are the things that I spent the most money on over.
Oh, yes. So now we're going to go with, I'm a moron that doesn't know how things are. Blah, blah. No, they're fine for landscape, shot and whatever you want. If you spend a lot of money on it, it's because you wanted to use it. And yeah, they've never been good. If there's mountains or hills or trees or anything in your pictures, then it's not a good idea. It's generally just not a good idea. So I think we're going to go to the next because, yeah, it can't get any more stupid right now.
Is cheap ball heads. So I spent a lot of money over the years on like travel tripods. So actually, this is a good one right here. This one right here is it's a small ball head from Benro. Nothing against Benro. Benro's great. But these just little ball heads that go on travel tripods are something that I am not a big fan of at all. They're small by design. They're supposed to be small. They're supposed to be travel oriented. They're supposed to be lightweight.
Oh yeah, just one thing, but they shouldn't be small compared to the camera. They still have to fit. You have to be able to use them with the camera.
But from my experience, and maybe this is just me, I have larger hands, but fiddling with these just small little knobs and everything is something that I really didn't enjoy. Plus, to be able to get these to kind of lock in place and not drift, especially if you have a telephoto lens on, to kind of really wrench them down to where they're tight.
Okay, what I'm hearing right now is you have way too big a camera for what those are made for. That's it. And also, again, just because you're traveling light and trying to figure it out, it doesn't have to be stupid. And sure, maybe it says it could take camera and lens for 5 or 7 kilos with that there, but it's probably not going to do it well.
It was always hard for me to kind of get a hold of these, especially if you have gloves on, if your hands are cold or anything.
As I said, it's too small for the camera. Your hand should be there. You can't complain about that. That's the same like a guy who's 7 feet tall complains about he bought this tiny smart car and he can't fit into it. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. Could you say something more stupid? Oh, you bought a Hobbit house and now your back hurts because you have to be slouched all the time to walk around? Well, that's just bad design, right? That's the house problem. That's not you being a moron right now, right?
Like that. So using these kind of cheaper travel ball heads, I guess you would call them, is something that I have never been a fan of. I like the kind of ball heads that you can really get a hold of. So this one right here, this is the BH40 from Really Right Stuff. It's a very expensive ball head, but much like all Really Right Stuff gear, it is extremely pricey. But
okay, so right now, his problem with buying cheap, bad stuff, that anyone could say, this won't work if you're wearing gloves, I have a big camera. Then you go, but then I bought something much better and bigger and it wasn't a waste of money. It's like, do you hear yourself right now? You're being as stupid as humanly possible. Seriously, let's get on to what the next thing he has, because this is just being so goddamn stupid. So we'll go with travel tripods now.
It's something else I wish I would have never wasted a lot of money on is travel tripods, as I was mentioning a few moments ago. I had this idea in my mind that I wanted a tripod that I could bring anywhere. It would sit flush in the side of my backpack and it would just have no additional weight, really be super lightweight, and it would...
They're also smart. You can get some really good ones.
Would really take up no additional room in my bag. And this is the one that I still have left. This is from Me Photo. And they're just, the biggest issue with travel tripods is the legs. You know, like, look at how thin this bottom leg is. If I can even open it up.
That's not a travel tripod problem. That is the version or the model you have there. You have one that's really tall, then the legs will get pretty thin. But yeah, they're still really sturdy.
Here. They're tiny, they're very flimsy, and yet...
Yeah, but you bent them there and I could see they weren't that flimsy. So they're still really strong. It's still metal, it's round, it can take a lot of punishment.
They don't weigh a whole lot, but in my experience, even the slightest gust of wind, and these things are starting to shift around.
Okay, I'm this close to just screaming at this moron. Okay, so a lot of tripods, especially travel tripod and stuff, they have a tiny little hook at the end. I think you can see it right there in the middle. So you pull that out, it has a small spring. So what you do is you either put your camera bag or anything you have, you can hang there heavy to weigh it down, because the idea is the tripod is small and easy and lightweight, and then you weigh it down. It's like bigger things, bigger productions where you have lights and stuff, then you put sandbags on the mounts that hold the lights, because you have to make sure they don't shift or move. The thing there is it looks a bit like what I have. As long as it's a good quality, then it'll be stable enough. And if you weigh it down in that freaking hook right there, then it'll be really stable and you can do it. Sure, if you got a really skinny one and you put it up to 160 centimeters or whatever, and there's really strong wind, then it'll move. Everything will move, no matter how big it is. But yeah, you're using it wrong, you absolute moron of a human.
And they're just, I think that, one, they don't really cost a whole lot of money, but they don't weigh a lot, and they don't take up much room in your bag. So all of those three things are fantastic qualities.
But if you don't know how to use it, you're a moron.
At the end of the day, performance is what matters most. Excuse me. And if it's not holding your camera steady, that is by far the most important thing. So
then you have to use it fucking right way, you goddamn... Okay, I'm sorry to be mean to moron guy sitting there saying stupid things because he don't know.
Like what use is this really?
It's no use. Like I said before, if you don't know how to fucking use a thing and it doesn't work for you, then it's not the thing that's the problem, then it's you. You can't say, oh, I tried it, it's shit, it don't work. Did you turn it on? Turn what on? The camera. No, it doesn't work. No, you have to... There's a power button. I've been pushing on that all day. No, that's a shutter button. You have to turn it on first. I don't know what you're talking about. I want a new camera. So yeah, what is the next amazing thing?
Comes to a tripod. So I have really done away with travel tripods, and sticking with that also, this Joby GorillaPod, this is another kind of thing that I thought was really cool.
And you bought it because you're a moron and you don't use action cameras or put cameras up for filming or special things, I guess.
Although this is not a travel tripod, it's still kind of in that realm of travel tripods. It's small, it's lightweight, and the idea is that you...
No, it's not really that. It's a thing, as you can see when you fold it together, it doesn't stand well as a tripod, but it's good as a action tripod or something.
You could really attach it to anything. So I had this in my mind that I would like strap this thing to like a tree branch or something, be able to put my camera on it to get some kind of crazy angle. One, I never really found many use cases where I thought the photograph could be improved if I took my camera and put it up in a tree on a branch or something and angled it down, or a fence post or anything like that. Second thing is, no matter how hard I try to lock this thing around something, as soon as you put your camera on it, if the camera is not sitting perfectly straight up and down on said branch or fence post or whatever it is.
So many things wrong with that. So it doesn't take a lot of brain activity to find out how to stick it so it doesn't move. First of all, normally that one's not that big. I'm thinking it's set for 3 kilos or something. If you're going to put a camera on it that weighs, I don't know, half a kilo, and then you got a lens in front of it, then you have to make sure to put it in a way that the lens doesn't tip it too much forward and things. So right now what I'm hearing is he used a fucking wrong, too big camera on it. And if you see how little that mount is, it's made for small cameras, for action cameras and stuff. It's a fucking action camera arm.
It would almost always just kind of flop over. So I don't think that this is very good for photography purposes. Now,
it's fine. It's not good for you. You don't need it for that. If you remote control the camera and you need it up in the tree or somewhere for a reason, or you're doing selfies, you're a brain-dead moron, right? Please, you're just goofing. This is just a stupid video about someone who knows shit and then just sitting there saying stupid things about things he don't know anything about, right? Please tell me that. I have some of those. I use them for sometimes when we film concert stuff where you need to place small camera, action camera or something in bizarre positions where you can't just put them there. Sure, if you got a real stage, you could use some double climb arms and stuff, but that's where you use that. If you just think, oh, I can use that for amazing camera things, and then go, yeah, but does your camera work for that? It's just, if you don't know how to use a thing, if you can't find out how to lock those legs so they don't get up, and if you can't, you're doing it wrong. And again, it doesn't make it a bad thing. I haven't got a lot of those. I haven't don't use them insane amount of the time. I use them for special purposes, like with everything else you take. Oh, and now we're going with the holster,
it's just
the
these
camera
small
holster there.
sling bags, these very specific types of bags. So I've got a bunch of different ones. So this one right here, I purchased many years ago from Mindshift. It's which I think they make great stuff. But this right here was just, as you can tell, it's just a case. Just here's a little rain cover for it. Just a singular case for a DSLR or a mirrorless.
Yeah, it's sometimes refers to as a gun holster because you have it and you have the camera. You can whip it up and take the image, take the picture you need. It's good for traveling when you... Let's hear what he has to say before I say any more.
Camera, and that was it. I was thinking that, oh, it'd be great if I only need the camera, just to be able to put it in this case, and I would have everything I needed here. Well, in actuality, what I found is that if I was going to do that, I would just have the camera strap or camera attached to the strap, and I would just have it on my body, walking around doing whatever I was doing. So I never actually used this thing one single time.
Okay, so here we get into the moron category again. Okay, so he turned out not to need it for something he had in his mind that he did do. So, okay, this, I don't use it as much because I don't have that. I have it in a camera bag or as a real backpack for cameras, or I have a bit bigger camera sling case where you got room for your camera, lens, and extra things. So those two are fine, but it's all for different purposes. So if I'm out biking, walking around stuff, and I don't want or need anything extra, that one is really good. Normally you can hook it to your belt also while they go across your shoulder, which is really nice because then you can get the camera up and get it out. But the extra nice thing is you can put it in there and it's protected. So if I have to run or move, don't have to be nervous about getting my lens down in the dirt or something because it's protected. If I walk around at some fair, some whatever, a lot of people where I'm going to photograph, yes, sure, I might mainly have the camera in the strap around my neck. But again, it's a case. So if, let's say you had that camera bag and you had a Gobi monkey bar thingy there, then if you went to the woods or something, you put that camera up to film stuff, an action camera up there, and you had your camera in the bag. It's to protect it. It's the, how much do you need? Sure, if I get my photo backpack, I have lenses, I have camera, I have microphones, everything I need. But if I use my holster for it, it's because I know I'm out here. All I need is to pick up the camera and shoot and then put it there because I'm going to move around. So my camera. So yeah, his thing is, don't you waste money on this because I'm a moron that doesn't need it because I either don't know how it works, I just don't need it because I'm not in a fucking situation where I need it. How is this a helpful video?
I thought it'd be nice to be able to have the, put your camera in here to protect it. It's got a couple little zipper pockets in here, two zipper pockets or one zipper pocket here to keep various things, but it ended up being not something that I ever used. Plus, I was never a fan of sling bags.
Okay, so back to that. That's not a fucking sling bag. It's, again, a camera holster. A sling bag is a backpack. That's a fucking sling. And now he goes on to sling bags, and I agree, they suck ass because you have the weight distribution way fucked up, especially with lots of stuff. But again, the other one here, you normally attach it to your belt at the same time, and it's for a different purpose. Just because you don't use it doesn't mean it's something people should not buy. Here's the thumbnail from the video, and it says, "Stop wasting money on photography," and so don't buy this. And it's like, why are you saying people they shouldn't buy that? What if they need it? Just because you're a moron doesn't mean everyone's a moron, right?
Tried to become.
And that was all of it. That's his things. Things he didn't fucking video. You goddamn moron. I'm sorry, I didn't want to mean. I tried to redo this and try not to get annoyed. But fuck shit up, that's a stupid video. How can you be this fucking dumb and then still have a channel? This video has 62,000 views. And that's what I hate about these videos, mostly. It's someone coming with something that's useless. And there's so many fucking useless things here on this planet and with those cameras and all that camera stuff. You could take some of those. Instead, he goes... You can find another video where I'm talking about some moron sitting and talking about things he wasted his money on. And that video basically turns out to, I bought some $5 cables, that's shit. I bought some $10 camera lens that was shit. It's like, okay, first of all, you're setting yourself up for failure. Second of all, you're a moron if you're going to make a video of how this is something people do stupidly when it's clearly something you did more or less on purpose. And they all claim, I'm professional, I work with this, all blah, blah, blah. Yes, I've also been a photographer, I don't know how many years, and I've worked with this. And my big problem here is, if I know what you're saying is fucking shit, even though it's not my part of the job, a lot of the things he goes there is not something I necessarily use, but I can figure it out so quickly. And yet, there you go. This is so stupid. It doesn't work because I do the hot wicks. I'm beating a dead horse right now. The problem is, how the fuck can you be this useless as a human being and then just, no, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mean. I'd like to apologize for things I said. He's not a moron. He just says moronic things. He does stupid things. He doesn't know how things work, and that's fine. You're allowed to be dumb. It's just not good to make a video where you point out how stupid you are by being even more stupid. Showing you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Really sorry I get mad about this stupid ass dumb fucking shit.